Hey guys, Kaiser here. Quick intro before we get into the video. T90 is hosting a brand new tournament for members of his community, the aptly named T90 Community Cup. And I had the honor of co-casting the very first series played for the tournament alongside the Tactical Tea Time. I streamed this live on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/IronKaiserGaming, and T and I had a blast casting this series between Posey95 and Dodo3011. The tournament features players from a variety of skill levels, and these two just so happen to be playing around the 12 to 1300 elo level, where I will be competing myself in the tournament. I'll be casting games and streaming my own tournament battles on Twitch, and I love hanging out with you guys. I've got a goal of reaching 100 Twitch followers, so if that sounds like your kind of jam, be sure to check out the link to my Twitch in the description below and consider following. You can also join the Iron Realm Discord group, and if you want more Tactical Tea Time casts, I'll have a link to his Twitch as well. Okay, enough context. Enjoy the show.
Saracens, though. I did not expect Saracens on Langaletti. What are you thinking right now?
I did not expect that either. I'm a little bit surprised, although it'll work out. I mean, Saracens, I think, are a decent counterpick to the Georgian play. Obviously, Georgians want to go with the Cav play. Saracens, great camels. They also have, of course, the market that gives them a really strong, flexible early economy, which I could see being a boon, particularly on a map like this. This would be interesting. This would be a very interesting match.
For certain. I'm very excited to see where the center of control lies. Sometimes with these games, you see it lie in the shorefish in the middle. Sometimes you see it lie with a specific patch of gold. One thing I find very interesting is the choice on woodline here. You see with the mule cart, the Georgians on Dodo have gone straight for the outside woodline, whereas Posey has directly gone for that woodline on that gold to try and open that up. So I think I like Posey's position already a little bit better because he's already thinking ahead. He's thinking, okay, I'm going to need gold to use this market bonus. I'm going to need gold to be able to make my Mamelukes to counter the Georgians. I'm going to need gold, and I need to get to it now. And that's why he's going straight to that woodline versus the... even with the mule cart, I'm quite surprised that Dodo went to the outside woodline. And we see Dodo going forward with the house in the center. The zone of control is amazing on that one. We do have a little ring around the rosy with the scouts in the middle, but that's all right. On these tiny maps, the scouts seem to enjoy each other's company a little too much.
I really like Dodo going forward with two vills just to make sure the one doesn't get picked off by a scout. That is a good play. Chad's making an interesting point, which is that there's not a lot of stone on this map at all. That could be difficult for a Georgian player who was wanting to throw castles everywhere. That could also maybe be a benefit in that, in the event of a Treb war, less stone means that being able to repair more cost efficiently is even more important than on a map flush with stone. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Apologies. I think a very important thing to note here is our base pointing out the Saracens are kind of a counter to the Georgians' powerhouse, but with this uncontested fish boom in the middle, I'm wondering if what is going to come first, the chicken or the egg? Is the fish boom going to be stronger early, or is that gold availability for the Saracens with their market bonus going to be better? I think an important thing to note is the stone on this map, it's not easy to take. It's quite cumbersome. You might see some... I've seen games where people will go for the low elo mining camps between two, but with the Saracens, they're going to have extra access to resources just because of that market bonus. So if it does come down to zone of control, if it comes down to castles, I think the Saracens are going to be able to pop out more. And we do see a little bit of action, the scout going for those vills in the center, but they are ready to fight back. That is a good point, Laurie. The mule cart being able to go to each stone pile is a huge advantage for collection rate.
And we avoid... Well, I guess I was going to say first blood, but we've already seen first blood. Dodo's scout is down, so... Congratulations,
Did it go down
Posey.
to the TC? It did.
Getting the
Posey
first
with
kill
the
of the
first
tournament.
kill. Yes, sir. We are seeing even more going to that woodline for the Saracens, so I definitely think Posey is prioritizing gold availability here.
Which makes a lot of sense. I think you've highlighted something that is so right on the money. It just makes this tournament so exciting. Two very different approaches to this map. Early gold access versus the fish boom. It's going to be fascinating to see this play out.
I do think that we're going to see a point where Dodo is going to be ahead in age due to that extra food farm, but Posey is going to have more availability for military because of that gold availability on top of the market bonus. We do see a barracks going down for both players, and Posey is going to be the feudal first, but without the barracks completed, it may get there right about the same time, but I am wondering, are we going to see feudal aggression, or are both players going to shake hands and go for that late game? And that is the first
I would be surprised if we don't see some aggression early on.
It's an immediate stable from Posey. Not surprised. We have another tussle in the tumble in the middle between the scout and the villagers.
Dodo had a really good move, pulling out the vulnerable Vill earlier so it can't get sniped by the scout.
I think that's a mistake that a lot of people at lower elos make, is they'll leave the same Vills out, and again, a stable straight down for Dodo, but Posey's stable is already up and producing, so that's going to be an important numbers advantage for Posey.
This could
we
be
do
a
see a
situation...
spear coming out.
Yeah, good spear. This could be a situation, I think, where the fish boom might help out. I think Dodo will have a more sustainable scout rush because of the extra food coming in from that center lake. It'll be a little bit more taxing on Posey's economy, I think, without the fish. Ooh.
For certain. That spear's just chasing those scouts, giving them constant pressure. Now, I do think if I was Dodo, I'd want to keep my spear at home. It's not doing much going forward, but it can do a lot for you on the defensive. We do see 2 spears out in the woodline for Posey. But I think you're correct. That extra food is going to play such a pivotal role in making sure that you're constantly creating scouts. It is currently 3 scouts on the map for Posey, 1 scout on the map for Dodo. That's 4 scouts on the map for Posey, but there's also 2 extra spearmen for Posey standing by. So I think my prediction with there being more military from the Saracens early is correct. I wonder what these players are going to do from here. There's not much undefended eco on the map. You've got the spearmen for Posey on the woodline. You've got everything under the TC and walled in the back for Dodo.
Here we go, Posey moving in.
Posey moving in for a dive. Will he kill one? It looks like he's just trying to spook him a little bit.
Scouting it out. I want to highlight, Dodo just picked up Horse Collar, so we're going to see a lot of farms. Pretty
yes.
And Posey grabbing it now as well.
Very, very important, that switch to farms, especially with the berry placement on this map being so close to your TC. You're almost required to take those berries, whether you want to or not, to get them out of the way for that double layer of farms. Laura did point out 300 res difference due to the fish, and it's crazy to think how much 2 fishing ships can swing something like that res count, but we are seeing no more from the stables from each. Still quite a bit ahead on food, Dodo is, and not finding any purchase with these scouts. He's coming in with 4. He's getting good hits off.
Oh, that was
close. Not quite.
That
very close. We are seeing the blacksmith now for Dodo.
Dodo scout down. For Posey, Dodo's spear gets killed there.
Oh.
Oh.
Very nice.
Posey snipes a farm.
Oh, the dive. He gets the farm. He's got.
And I want to highlight.
Very low scout.
While we're watching the action here, all of the exciting back and forth, Posey has gained access to that gold in the center. And so anytime he wants to, he can. I guess he's probably going to wait for Castle Edge to go down TC, but he has the option to take that gold.
We are seeing an archery range now from the Saracen player. Interesting not to go for a blacksmith, but instead to go stable archery range. I wonder if he is thinking, with all this protected eco, he's going to need some range to be able to do any damage. And we may see archers or we may see castle age into crossbows. It looks like the scouts are mostly just doing some dancing around the maps, both players being very careful with their eco, but we do have Dodo, again, ahead on food, equal on gold, but he has the res to click up as soon as he gets 3 more drop-offs on that gold. And if he force clears, but these scouts are keeping everything messy.
I think archers is a really fun pick with Saracens. Of course, they do the extra damage as part of their team bonus. They do extra damage.
One scout down, one Vil down. Apologies for interrupting.
No.
A little action there, but we do see the click up from Dodo, and Posey is still 100 food away. That's another thing about going archery range stable is we don't see the signature Saracen market. So we're actually going to see 3 feudal buildings dropped here, delaying that Saracen castle age time, and that's going to be so pivotal for Dodo to get ahead and get that first castle out.
Yeah, I think Dodo is in a strong position right now, but I am a little worried about his economic situation. As soon as he clears up these 2 gold, he is going to have just a real choke point on getting more gold. He's not making any moves toward the key gold piles on his side of the map, which means if he cannot get significant damage done early in Castle Age, I think Posey might actually be in a better long-term situation.
We did see 2 scouts go down for Posey, 1 for Dodo, but the key here is those 2 spearmen that Posey was so proactive with. Even before he made scouts, he made those 2 spearmen to make sure that he was going to have safe access to that gold. Now we do have the long distance Bluetooth gold miner here for Posey, walking all the way from that pool of gold back home, but I think a mining camp could do her legs some good work. We have the 2 scouts in the back on the gold from Dodo, but there's a spearman again there. Posey keeping everything ahead in his brain, keeping eyes on all things, but forgetting to build that market early really did hurt him, as we're going to see Dodo up about 1/4 of the way before Posey is.
Dodo also just sniped out a Vil on Posey's second lumber camp, so well played there.
Snagged there between the wood line, the stone, and the lumber mill. But did he lose both of those scouts? No, they both got out unscathed. Well, they got poked a little bit, but a pointy boy never
Ever so
killed
slightly
anybody.
scathed.
We've got a TC now on that wood line, which answers your previous question of what is he gonna do about getting to that gold? And I think doing a second boom on that wood line is the best option. You can't really just send a mule cart and send Vils from home. You're gonna want a second TC boom, and that earlier castle age time for Dodo is gonna give him an even bigger advantage on that front. We're seeing a TC in a similar vein, except on the gold for our Saracen player, which makes perfect sense. And we are already seeing camels out of the Saracen player, knowing already the Georgians and what they do, and knowing exactly how to counter it. We do have 2 knights now coming in from Dodo, but 4 camels versus 2 knights, I think I'm going with the spitters.
Yeah.
We do have 1 archer sitting in that archery range, and I didn't see the second stable from Posey, so it looks like we are going to see all in camels. I wonder what the response is going to be from Dodo. He's got extra spears in the back, but I'm not seeing pikemen coming in, which may prove pivotal. I think knights are great for raiding, they're great for getting under TCs, getting into that eco, but when you're dealing with camels, you're not gonna be able to get ahead with knights. And there is a snipe with those knights, exactly like I was saying. Unlike scouts, knights are very comfortable under a TC. They can take a lot of fire. They've got that higher pierce armor, that higher HP, and they hit harder, which means there's even more opportunity to get in and get out. We're seeing a massive spears now out of this 1 barracks from Dodo. I don't know if he's seen these camels, but if he hasn't, he's been proactive anyways.
Yeah, I think that if you're in Dodo's shoes, you have to know that camels are going to be on the map. Even if you don't see them, I would be shocked if I were playing Georgians up against Saracens and I don't see camels. So smart of him to recognize that. and kind of have a game plan ready to go. This monastery, oh, the fortified church comes up just in time.
Perfectly timed fortified church, and the timing on that third TC for both players is almost identical. You can see at this level, these players know how to play, they know what they want to do, and they know how to get there. And that third TC is going to be the key to getting the Georgian late game and that camel mass that our Saracen player is really looking for. I think a very interesting thing is we haven't seen either go to stone. There is no sign of a castle anywhere on this map. They are using all of that starting stone for TCs, and that's a very interesting note. Posey is the first one on stone. He's got 4 on that third TC, but nothing still from Dodo. We are seeing the pikeman upgrade coming in now, which is something I noted before, because these camels, the best way to get at them is going to be that anti-cav. I am wondering, so Posey is just one step ahead on everything. He's already got crossbows coming in on his archery range for those pikemen, and it's going to be a pikeman, knight, camel, crossbow, hodgepodge battle of the ages. I love to see a messy game.
Yeah. One thing I love to highlight, I always avert my eyes over to the economy, right? And both players, kind of similar with idle TC times. I guess Dodo's doing slightly better on that. But both players have nearly identical eco numbers. Like you mentioned, they're getting down their second TC, their third TC at almost the same time. It's just interesting to see, even though they're using different strategies and they've taken different approaches to the early part of this game, they both have kept their ecos running very well, and they're step by step as we're entering into the mid game.
So, an interesting thing to note, remember we talked about those mule carts on the stone. That is exactly what we're seeing, and even though Dodo was much later to stone, we are already seeing him pull ahead in that stone count, looking for that all-important Georgian Manaspa castle. He is going to pull ahead with those mule carts in that collection, and the Knights trying to dive in and not finding purchase on Posey's eco. I'm wondering, though, what is with all these resources put in by Posey for the camels just to sit near his gold pile? He's got safe gold in the middle. He's got all the gold he could want, and yet all his military, he's got double the military, it seems. Not quite double, but numbers advantage to Dodo, and he's not doing much with it.
They're finally moving out, and I'm wondering, I guess we'll see the archers as the counter to the Georgian.
For the pikemen.
Pike, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he plays this out.
I think the important thing, there's one pikeman down. And you do see the Knights now starting to move, but they were already on the other side of the map, meaning that Posey is going to have some precious few seconds here to get as many picks on these pikemen as possible before the Knights come back in to take out those crossbows. And we're going to see a Knight go down to the camels.
Yeah.
That's a second pikeman down. A monk goes down to the crossbows. Those crossbows are definitely getting their money's worth. Another pikeman down as they trickle out. I missed the second massive pikes coming in from the left, and we're going to see a flank on those camels with double pikemen. The crossbows trying the micro, and the first castle is dropped down here on this eco. This could be bad for Dodo. He dropped that castle. Some good micro from both players. We're going to see this army go down for Dodo. It's just a better comp for Posey. But that castle, if he can't deny it, is going to secure Dodo's forward position. And only going to closer that Manaspa.
He will get the castle up, but I think he paid a hard cost for it, losing most of his army to secure the castle.
For certain. The important note is there's not even close to enough stone for a response castle from Posey. But now we can see Manaspa. We don't see them coming in yet, but that is the Georgian late game. I think pikes in Manaspa could be a very strong comp against this crossbow and camel that we've seen. Definitely leaning towards pikes more, but you get some Manaspa on a crossbow ball, and I think that we will see some bloodshed yet from Dodo. Still more Knights coming out. Very interesting choice to continue with Knights instead of transferring to Manaspa. But I'm wondering, what are you thinking from here? What is the plan? We've got a defensive castle from Dodo, a huge army from Posey, and that res that we saw Dodo up with earlier was lost in that altercation.
Well, something that I want to highlight that's so important is a 4th TC going down for Dodo on his other gold pile. And I really wished, because the camels have control. Posey has control of the battlefield right now. He could swing his camels around and catch sight of this TC and deny it.
I think an important thing to note is the lack of vision on Posey's side. He's had such a big army this entire game, but he hasn't been able to see what his opponent is doing to be able to capitalize on that. And I think he's honestly playing a little too afraid for my liking. We do finally see a monastery going down for that signature Saracen multi-heal. But I do wish he would do more with this army, especially after such a decisive battle like that. You're giving Dodo time to rebuild his strength, get to that Georgian late game, and I would have liked to see him capitalize on that more.
Now we see a classic divergence between the two players here. Dodo has the stronger economy right now. I think he was 10 bills up just a second ago. But Posey, on the way to the Imperial Age, has no castle down. But going up
no castle, but he's going to Imp. And I think that we aren't going to see a castle from Posey until very late, because I don't think he's wanting to buy stone. I noticed he had 1,000 gold recently after that fight near the castle, and it all disappeared, and then Imp was clicked. So I think that that's his priority over a castle more than anything. We do see another stable going down for Posey, so it could just be heavy camel riders and crossbows coming out of the Saracen player. The scout is sniped by just all the spitters in the area. That 4th TC on the other gold line isn't really doing much. I kind of expected Dodo to just fully boom here, especially since he's got the protection from the castle, he's got the relic in the fortified church. I am surprised we haven't seen a monk for our Saracen player. I think that there's been a gross negligence on relics so far, especially with how early the fortified church went down. Yes, his first monk got sniped, but he hasn't thought about building another one, and he is building, bringing in another relic. I apologize, I was incorrect. He's just moving slow in those robes with those old legs.
Yeah, you got to give him some patience. He's lived a long life.
He hasn't. I'm not sure he's got fervor in his heart yet, but we should see that coming. And now coming in the Imperial Castle, not quite right on top of the other, but contesting Dodo's castle. And the important thing to see here is that castle controls a large chunk of the middle of the map for Posey, giving his army someplace safe to take refuge and poke at Dodo. I also think with the Imperial Age time, I wonder if this castle is going to be able to get out a Treb before Dodo hits Imp and can respond with his own Treb. From Posey's position, I like the army numbers. I like all of his decisions this game. I wish that we had seen more early aggression, because we are starting to reach that Georgian critical mass with the Knights, with the Pikemen, with the Manaspa, and they tried to move out. Immediately were hit by that castle, and he loses 2 Pikemen to that castle going up.
Okay, Treb's coming out. I agree with you. I would have liked to see more early aggression, especially after Posey sort of wiped Dodo's early army. There was an opportunity there to scout around, at least get some intelligence with your camel units. I think I understand the defensiveness, but when you've cleared out the army, you're safe for at least a moment. And in fact, he could have denied the town center if he'd seen it. So, first Treb out.
First Treb is out, and the Treb for Dodo is out right now. Immediately going out. We do see a Vil immediately getting pulled to repair the castle, but looking at the army numbers, I am just favoring Posey's position more and more as this game goes on. He was to Imp first. Arbalest is in. Heavy Camel Rider has not been clicked, which is a surprise to me. He went for Wheelbarrow first. I feel like Heavy Camel Rider is your key to victory here. You've got the numbers, you've got the position, get that upgrade, get your armor.
There it is.
There it is, it's finally clicked. A second Treb out for each now.
Imperial Age Cav armor has just come in for our Georgian player. Posey is still on the Castle Age armors for his camels. That could make a difference.
I do think that'll make a difference, especially if he has to take a fight before this Heavy Camel upgrade comes in. The Treb War is currently a stalemate, but villagers being pulled en masse
Notice
by
the stone
both.
counts. The Saracen Castle will
Yes.
fall.
The Saracen Castle is going to go down. He doesn't have the gold immediately available, and those mule couch on those stones. I wonder, did Dodo buy stone, or has he just been that on it? Oh, we do see the market play from Posey buying up some more stone, but that can only last so long. He is going in with the Arbalest.
Here we go, big
Baiting him
right
under
here.
the castle. The important thing to note here is Posey wants to take this fight under his castle. He has the better army comp. He has the numbers, and he sees that his castle's
he's tasking
going down.
his army to the wrong units.
Oh, goodness.
Blue
He
is
needs to get
melting
those
here.
Arbalest on those pikemen.
Blue absolutely melting here.
Absolute massacre from Posey here. And what I want to see is I just want to see a click, drag, and right click on that castle. He's got to do something. He's got to take out some of those vills. He has to do something because with 1,200 stone in the bank, Dodo's castle is not going down anytime soon.
I think Dodo, I don't know, did he panic there or he was winning this?
I genuinely wonder because Dodo chose to take a fight he didn't have to take under Posey's castle, and I don't know if he just got bored or if he wanted to see, you know, how desperate Posey was, and Dodo's castle goes down despite the stone numbers, and this is going to be a clear cleanup from Posey, and this may be the GG.
That is insane.
The Arbalest number's big enough to be able to take out the few Cavalier that are out. The Camels just sitting there, not attacking anything. They had to take a little bit of a water break, but they're back at it now. And we should just see a steamroll from Posey from here. He's got 4 Trebs to 1. He's got full Camels. He's got full Arbalest. No more relics for Dodo. This is not looking great for our Georgian player, but he is going to drop a castle back in his base and try and fall back and regroup. I think an important thing to note is a lot of the aggression has been on Dodo's side of the map. Even with that early army wipe from Posey, it was on Dodo's side. It was near that castle. It was near his eco, and Posey has just free boomed. I love the lack of refresh on Posey's side. It shows that he's really focused on the aggression now. But that lumber camp does hurt my soul. We are seeing a good cleanup here. We're going to see those Trebs come in and clean up that extra castle. I wonder if he's going to be able to keep it up. And where did Dodo's stone go?
Yeah.
He had 1,200 a minute ago. One bad fight, a castle drop, and it's all gone because he needed that gold to buy res just to stay in this game. And we are seeing unupgraded scouts coming out now.
Do want to highlight
Dodo
has a second castle going down on the left-hand side, trying to put some pressure on Posey's gold.
That's, in my opinion, that is the wrong side to drop it on. Or if you're going to drop it on that side, drop it on those unprotected farms. But those aren't doing much with that small wood line of vills there.
In a world where
we're
you're
going to see
fighting
some
from
vill
behind like
fighting.
that, yeah, I agree with you. If Dodo were ahead, I like the castle position, but yeah, from behind, he's got to figure something out here.
Well, and when you're so behind like this, you know, you've lost 2 castles, you've lost 2 armies, you've lost your forward position, you've lost your access to most of your gold, and now you only have pikemen, a TC, and a dream, and that Arbalest mass is just so beautiful in that choke point. I've never loved murder so much.
Yeah, is this going to be the 3rd army wipe here on Dodo? He's pulling out his pikes, but
I think the most important thing to note is Posey hasn't taken a fight that he could have lost. He has taken every fight, and we do see the GG. from Dodo.
Wow.
Looking at the end here, we see Posey just absolutely killing it on score. We see a 6.12 KD for Posey. That is just astounding. 200 units lost from Dodo.
Mhm.
And I don't care what level of play you're at, that is just a devastating loss, especially when it's invested into Cavalier and Manaspa. That's so much gold
Yep.
just down the drain, and the stone was not enough to make up for that difference. Any
Yeah.
big notes from you looking at the end of this
Well,
game
the
here?
thing is, I mean, up until that fight under the castle, I think both players were doing really well, and I even would have given advantage to Dodo. I thought he had the better situation. He had more stone in the bank. He had the Trebs putting in the attrition work, and then he just decided to. I think he felt pressure that wasn't actually there, and decided to take that fight under Posey's castle. That and not only did he take the fight under the castle, but the way that he took the fight, he had his pikes attacking the enemy arbalest and his cav attacking the enemy camels. So it's all mismatched from what he would have wanted to do, and Dodo's army just melted. So if you're in Dodo's shoes, I mean, you've got to kind of shake it off, go into game two with that fresh mindset. Don't go in with that extra pressure, on your shoulders, but kind of focus in on that army control because I think he's got the economy. I think even now he has more villagers than Posey does, so he's got the economy locked down. He just needs to make sure that he has that
Um,
army control
I
under
think an important
control.
thing to remember is at this level of play, I was hesitate to say that people are not comfortable with a hybrid boom. I know personally, even at my level, hybrid is still something that some players
Mhm.
haven't practiced, they are still struggling with, or they just haven't looked into it all because it's too much brain power. But we are going to see at this level, I believe, fishing ships from both, some water contesting from both, and in my opinion, the more important map feature here is the gold in the middle.
Right. Right. And I do want to give a shout out to, speaking of high brain power, these pro casters nailing it. We have Japanese versus Byzantines on these
Yes,
maps.
sir.
So,
We predicted it perfectly. I think
mhm.
Japanese was a no-brainer, but
Yeah.
just with the Byzantine trash, that defensive label, all of their bonuses, it just seemed to make sense that that would be the response. And Posey, I think, is very interesting. Posey on both games, in my opinion, has been able to accurately predict and counterpick based off of the map and Civ draft, and that is astounding to me because he's got that pro caster brain and he is thinking ahead and getting those picks out. I do wonder if the Japanese planning and the Japanese boom is going to be enough to outpredict Posey's preparedness. Like
Hmm.
I said, I've seen him active. He's been practicing. He's been on the maps. He's been on these civs. What is Dodo going to do when he is faced
Yeah.
with a plan that is more prepared than his own?
It'll be interesting. I have chat asking, Posey should be flexible as the Byzantines, right? And yeah, I'd say both of these civilizations are very flexible civs. It's not like the Franks or the Britons where you have kind of an obvious strategy. I think that they are very flexible. They can go archers, they can go cav, they can especially fight on the water and get strong eco boom going on the water. So it'll be interesting to see what they bring to the table because there are a lot of possible options. I would expect maybe Cav Archer from the Japanese with their new Cav Archer bonus. I think that could be a really cool pickup. But then again, you also want to take advantage of that strong, eco that you can get going. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll see from Japanese. Byzantines, if they have enough foresight, they can counter anything with their really cheap, trash units. So yeah, there are a lot of options that both of these players could bring to the table.
Our base is out here making me chuckle with saying, "Welcome to four pits." This map does kind of have four arm pits on it, doesn't it? A little bit of that, a little bit of that swamp pit with that fish in there, smelling a little bit rank. But that's all right because it makes the booming even better. We do see Doc's similar timing. Lumber camps, similar timing. I think a key note here is the double lumber camp from Dodo, knowing that that Japanese boom, that Japanese fish boom, is going to be the key to his success here. The barracks already down. Feudal H coming in for Dodo quicker. The Japanese were made for a map like this. How is Posey going to respond?
Yeah, I'm surprised we don't. I would be surprised if we don't see Posey, kind of aggressively fighting for these lakes himself. Because if the Byzantines go for it, the faster attacking fire ships, I think will give him an edge over Dodo. But if he allows Dodo to just boom on these lakes, that'll be huge for him. So Dodo coming in with that deodorant for the second armpit there.
Did Posey not get loom? That is the question of the century, our base, and I don't have the answer.
Let me tell. Yeah, no, Posey does not have loom currently.
No loom.
Wow.
Interesting. Even still being later up to feudal, and I think that's just a credit to the fish from the Japanese. You know, we saw the third fishing ship out faster, a little bit more food, a little faster to feudal, and it could snowball from here for our Japanese player. But we are seeing some hard walling from Posey, wanting to go for that late game Byzantine trash war comp, and I am not surprised. We see scouts now coming in for the Japanese player, which is interesting to not take advantage of the faster attacking infantry. Personally, I'm an infantry fan. I might be biased. Infantry is great. It's got big attack, it moves slow, it's chunky. I like it. It reminds me of myself. But we're seeing scouts from the Japanese player. We are seeing spearmen from the Byzantine player, which only makes sense, which even further makes me question the scout pick from Dodo. You know the Byzantines have those bonuses on that trash. You know that they're going to go for spears and pikes, so why go for a unit that's so easily countered? It's like Posey's countering Dodo at every turn, including last game, before he even sees the army comp, and that's just such huge foresight from Posey. And the scout for Posey does go down from one of the scouts from Dodo, but that just reaffirms that spears are the right play for Posey. And I think spears and skirms are going to be the key to taking the center for our Byzantine player here.
Yeah, I mean, to give Dodo some credit or to kind of maybe play defense for him here, I think it makes sense on a map like this where you're going to be flush with food that you'd want to get out a unit that just costs food. And it's such an open map too that especially if he were to maybe catch a villager trying to get a dock on one of these lakes, I think the way that Dodo's playing this, using his scouts to sort of secure his his third lake, I think that makes sense to maybe play a little bit of defense on the lakes, because we do see he's not raiding with them. So I think I like the pick from that context, although I agree with you. If Dodo were wanting to raid, if you were wanting to put pressure on, Posey obviously knows that scouts were the play. He's able to predict that well and get spears out to play defense. So
an important thing to note here, I apologize for cutting you off, but I want to get this out there. There is 3 docks on 3 armpits for Dodo, and it has not been spotted by Posey. And that is one of the disadvantages of going for spearmen, is that with those extra scouts from Dodo, he is just going to patrol those lakes, making sure that when Posey eventually finds them, he's not going to be able to catch Dodo off guard. And I think that that was the true meaning of the scout play. I think you're right. I don't think he was planning on raiding. I think he wanted those lakes. We do see scouts coming out for Posey now, just a couple, probably going for that fish. And everything we're saying, it's like they know what we're going to say before we even say it.
So,
and they make it come true for us.
I've got to highlight this. Over on the right-hand side, we have a villager from Posey coming over to dock this lake. So that's what the scout's for. But then he's also brought a spear, to cover the bill.
The foresight on these players is just... it's astounding. I can see everything as a caster. We can see the bird's eye view, and yet these players are making all the right plays. The picks with the scouts from Posey, the spear brought with the Vil from Posey. Posey is just, he's got Dodo's number, and he's calling him. He's got the Civ draft, he's got the plan, he's got the army, and the proactivity from Posey is just off the charts. An important thing to note, Posey has now potentially denied fish on 2 lakes. He took out the Vil and the Scout in the west. He took out the Scout in the east and built a dock. What
Fire
is Dodo
Galley
going
coming
to
up
do
on the
from
right.
this? Exactly. That's going to be a Byzantine lake in the next 30 seconds. The important thing to note is Dodo was quicker to click castle and is getting archer upgrades, and we're going to see Japanese crossbows coming out. Both players firmly walled. Actually, I totally lied. Posey has left his right flank open with the lack of army from Dodo. That's not a problem, but if we were to see a crossbow ball get in there, that could be devastating for Posey. He needs that safe eco as the Byzantines to just go for that Imperial play.
Oh,
We are
so
seeing
some dancing going on the right here, where the Scout's trying to get a Vil kill, and he's like running around.
Will he get it?
No!
No. The pointy boy is able to get the horse right before he gets the villager. Those spears, I will say, Posey's spear placement this entire oh, thank you, Lori. This entire series so far, the spear placement has been phenomenal. And I think that is such a key point, is that if you're going to go with any sort of early aggression, if you're going to go for scouts, if you're going to go for anything like that, having spears already there. He's got one in his base watching. He's got one on his docks. Last game he had 2 on his woodline. He had 1 on his farms. He just knows, hey, it's a tournament. I'm going to expect aggression, so I'm just going to be ready for it. And that's kind of the theme going in here. But I think that with a good, I am shocked. Do you see what Dodo has built? I said crossbows, and I was wrong. We are seeing Cav Archer out of our Japanese player with 3 TCs.
Because remember, guys, the Japanese recently got a new bonus for their Cav Archers, where Japanese Cav Archers, they do bonus damage to enemy archers. So they are, they have a unique niche among Cav Archer civs, which is really cool. So if we see the Byzantine player go archers, which is a very common play for the Byzantines, this will play right into Dodo's hands.
I think an important thing to note, though, is as the Byzantines, if I'm not mistaken, it's cheaper spears and skirms, right? That is going to, both of those units counter Cav Archers in their own way. Yes, spears do insane damage, but theoretically, with correct micro, a spearman should never touch a Cav Archer.
Right.
Alternatively, skirmishers are just going to shred your Cav Archers. They're going to have the range to do it, and they're going to be extremely cost effective for Posey. So as much as I like the Cav Archer play for raiding, as much as I like the Cav Archer play for the mobility, I don't like it in the sense that the Byzantines just have an answer for everything Dodo is trying to do, and that makes me uncomfortable for his position.
Yeah, well, I do like, again, this is a big open map. I like the flexibility that Cav Archers bring to the table. I also like, again, how they do counter one of the Byzantines' desires. I think most Byzantine players want to play crossbows. They want to play archers. So I like how it counters that. Yes, you have the cheaper skirms, and skirms will just wreck the Japanese Cav Archers.
And
but
the 23-minute loom from Posey.
There it is, yeah.
But loom at 23 minutes, that's gotta be a record in tourney play.
Chad brings up a good point. We could also see camels from Byzantines, and that would.
I forgot that they get camels.
And then not only do they get them cheaper too, if I'm not mistaken. That ties in as well.
Okay, a key thing to note here. Dodo has noticed a palisade behind the trees, probably has small tree mods on, I don't know how to do that on Capture Age, and is slowly about to break his way into Posey's eco. And if we see this match, I'm getting too excited. If these Cav Archers get in, it could be catastrophic for that Byzantine economy, but he didn't commit, and I'm very shocked. If he could have ran in there, gotten on that wood line, killed some of those fishing chips, that would have put Dodo firmly ahead. And we do see the skirms now from Posey. As soon as he saw those cav archers, he said, archery range, skirmishers, get them out, thumb rings coming in. He changed it for elite skirm. I like that better.
Hey, check this out in the center of the map. Dodo is claiming the gold in the center.
And it's exactly as you said, that mobility from Dodo on those cav archers is going to make it so that if Posey tries to contest this, he has seen the TC foundation, but even if he comes forward, that's 4 skirms against 14 cav archers with Bodkin and Thumb Ring. We haven't seen the Castle Age armor upgrade, but that's okay, because with those numbers, I don't like the skirmishers odds. We are seeing some knights being mixed in by Dodo now, so we might see full cav play from our infantry civ player. The skirms continue to come. They're getting upgrades coming in from Posey. He's trying to snipe over the palisades. Will there be a light cav to go down? There will not, because of the inaccuracy of the skirms. I like Dodo's position a lot more now. At the beginning of the game, I spoke about how important that center was, and I think anyone with center control still has a chance in this game. I think I was wrong. I'm ready to admit it. Cav archers was the right play. I wasn't ready for it. I didn't think it was going to come out, and here we are. So, you showing a little bit of your experience, knowing that new Civ bonus that I was unaware of. We got map control with those cav archers, and Dodo is looking really nice.
Yeah, he is. Now, Posey is almost on the way up to Imperial Age. Byzantines, of course, get a cheaper Imperial Age, so you only need, I think, 600 and some odd food in order to tech up, and he more than has it. In fact, he could probably just buy his way up.
An important thing to note, Warpball pointing out, Posey has castle ability. He has the stone for a castle. He has almost the res to go imp. He has the Byzantine bonuses. What is he going to do from this position? He has so much res sitting there. And what he's doing is he's making camel riders to go with his skirms.
What I would love to see from Posey, take those gold miners, move forward, drop a castle.
And we're going to see a capital coming forward from Dodo. This is a huge play. I think that this knight with these calves is going to be enough to defend those skirms, and there's enough vills there that castle is going to go up, and the camels come out, showing maybe a little earlier than Posey wanted to.
Yeah, no, but I think this is the right play by Posey. The castle will not go up. The camels combined with the skirms mean Dodo's either going to have to pull back or lose his army here.
I think Dodo needed to pull back with those vills, take the fight, get the knights and the skirms, get those camels killed. As soon as I see the camels go out, personally, I'm pulling the vills. I'm like, okay, this is not the altercation that I was ready for. This is not what I wanted. This is not how I thought it was going to go. Let me pull back, regroup, take a better fight. But it looks like he is still going to be able to force it up. Just raw numbers. That is surprising. It may be an upgrade difference in the fact that there's going to be a very late response from Posey.
Yeah, but wait a minute. There are only two blue vills here. Only 2 blue vills. I don't think they can get the castle up.
Oh my goodness. Is he going to deny this?
Red will get that castle up.
Oh no, the skirms aren't attacking the vill? Okay, they're on the vill. Oh my goodness. Is this the first doubt castle of the series? Of the tourney? A bit of a panic night, in my opinion, coming out from Posey. I would have much preferred a camel, but Dodo is still trying to force that castle up with 1 vill at a time, and that vill goes down. He's bringing 2, but Posey's castle is going to go up first, and it's going to be a deleted castle from Dodo, losing that position, losing some res, and losing some army, and Posey is looking better and better from his Byzantine position, but I still prefer Dodo. A second castle from Dodo going up now with 1 vill.
Good castle placement.
I really liked what Dodo tried to do there. I think he needed to either commit more and stop trickling vills in at the end there, or he needed to commit less, pull back, regroup. He just lost a vill to the castle that was auto-sent forward. He's still streaming vills from his middle TC to the castle's position that he was at previously, and they're going to keep dying to the castle. And Dodo needs to notice this. He's losing 50 food every 30 seconds for no reason, and I don't love that. That's 2 or 3 vills now just lost to auto-pathing. That is not great.
And I've got to highlight that last fight went exactly the same way that the key fight in the first battle did, where Dodo's knights were on Posy's camels, and his cav archers were on Posy's skirms, exactly mismatching how you would want that fight to go down. And I think that exacerbated a fight that I think Posy might have won anyway, but it allowed him to win it in dominating fashion. So now I think Dodo's behind the 8 ball here.
I think that's something to note is I may have been wrong with my call last game about Posy not being aggressive enough. I think Posy is purposefully not showing his strength, not showing his army comp. That way when Dodo overcommits like he has in the last game and in this game, Posy can jump out with that army comp, have the numbers, have the counters, and wipe Dodo like he has in so many of these divisive fights. I am tripping over my own tongue from excitement. The gold from Dodo in the middle, though, is going to be so important. He's going to be able to keep building the units he wants to build. And Posy isn't hurting on gold, but he is going to run out. All of his gold at home is almost gone. He's got... he's still got 3 tiles. He's doing fine. But if this goes to late game, I much prefer Dodo's position currently. Again, we're seeing a repeat of last game, though. The army numbers from Posy are just more. The fights for Posy are just better. And Imperial Age is in first for Posy again. This is more and more looking like a repeat of last game.
Yep. I agree. I mean, I think if we could freeze the battlefield for the next 20 minutes, Dodo might be in a really good spot. But looking at the situation right now where Posy has double Dodo's army numbers...
An important thing here from Dodo is that he is actually still trying to raid Posy's eco. And he's not going to get in, but he may be able to pull Dodo's army. He needs to. He needs to get some sort of diversion. He needs to get some of those numbers pulled off so that he can get in and snipe this Treb. We do see a Treb coming in just a little bit late from Dodo. He was a little later to Imp, a little later with the Treb, exactly like how the Castle War last game went. And we're going to see 2 Trebs out for Posy before 1 Treb comes out from Dodo. That small group of knights getting chased out by by camels. The skirms keeping anything off of the Trebs. It's just... Posy has got Dodo's number.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we need to see Halberdier and maybe Mangonel from our Japanese player, if he can make that switch.
I haven't seen any Siege this series, and that's very interesting considering the absolute mass that Posy has been running. With numbers like that, I always love to see a good Mangonel shot come in. It's so value, but we've got 2 Trebs and 2 castles for Posy. No Trebs and no castle for Dodo. I liked his middle control, but the army numbers are there. It's not looking great for Dodo, and this is a big fight for Posy. Posy accurately getting his skirms directly on those cav archers. I was incorrect. There is 1 Treb from Dodo, but it will go down quickly after this army swipes Dodo's. Good micro on the cav archers, but is it going to be enough? Pulling some of those camels now to take out that Treb from Dodo. I wonder if Posy is too split here. Yeah, the skirm numbers are still strong.
And I think a situation that I'm seeing out of Dodo's gameplay that I believe is a mistake is he likes to try to go for the Treb and shoot the Treb down first. And I understand the desire to do that, but rule of thumb, 90% of the time, you want to take the army versus army fight first, clear the army off the field, and then go for the Trebs.
It's a bit of a bait to go straight in for the Treb, especially if you have the smaller army, especially if you have the worst comp, or even the countered comp, not necessarily worse, but skirms and camels counter knights and cav archers in their entirety. It's not that there's anything wrong with knights and cav archers, but against camels and skirms, you might as well be using militia.
Yeah.
And we see so many vills going down for Dodo. He's lost the TC in the middle. He's lost the gold control. He's lost his Trebs. He's got so many stables. But what can he do from here? we keep just seeing the trickle knights, but the camels just keep cleaning them up, and you can't get any sort of a significant mass. The cav archers from earlier are all but mopped up by these skirms, and Posey.
This is GG.
This is just. I really like how Posey doesn't take an engagement that he doesn't know he can win, and we do see Posey take the set 2-0. We saw Posey play both games with a plan. He counterpicked civs. He got the map knowledge. He was in there with the army that he needed when he needed it, and took every fight in an extremely decisive way, winning him this first series of the TCC tournament.
He embodied the Byzantine playstyle really well, identifying what your opponent's strategy is and then just massing up the counters. He did that in both games and did that really well. Great use of camels in both matches by Posey. It's just next level planning, next level sort of awareness, not just planning, because I think Dodo had a plan, but I think Posey had a plan for Dodo's plan. It was like the counter plan. Was so good, and he just was able to take these games straight. Well played.